Good evening, dear Dhamma friends, and welcome to our weekly online event, Diving into Dhamma, live Q&A with Bhante Sumitta. I'm your host, Ananda Vijayaratna, and I'm truly excited to be here with all of you today. Today, we have a special guest joining us. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ananda Mahinkanda. Every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Saturday 6:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time, we gather here on Dhamma USA YouTube channel to engage in enlightening discussions and a Q&A session with the esteemed Bhante Sumitta. So mark your calendars for every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and be ready to tune in to these insightful sessions with Bhante Sumitta, who holds a PhD in the subject matter. The wisdom he imparts is a guiding light for us on our spiritual journey. And also for today's Q&A session, please feel free to ask any questions too from Mr. Ananda Mahinkanda as well. Let's invite Bhante and Mr. Ananda Mahinkanda to the studio. Welcome, Bhante and Mr. Ananda.
Thank you so much, Ananda. Thank you, Bhante.
Hi, good. Teruvan Sarnai, Ananda Mahathya. Good to see you.
Thank you. Same here. Thank you, Ananda.
Yeah. So we actually had a similar discussion just a few days ago on the subject. So we thought Ananda Mahatma and myself discussing if we can maybe enlighten our community, not to hurt anyone, just our Buddhist standpoint on the subject, like how it was important for us to think of the Creator God and the Buddhist standpoint. And so I hope we will be able to do something regarding this subject matter today.
Yes. You want me to speak, or are we answering any questions? Anyway, first of all, thank you so much, Bhante. Thank you so much, Ananda, for inviting me and involving me in this Q&A session. Very interested, of course, and let's contribute whatever the way we can for the benefit of mainly the Buddhist and also for the other people who listen to this discussion.
Right.
So we have a list of questions that we would like to propose today to be answered by Mr. Ananda Mahinkanda and as well as Bhante Sumitta on how Buddhism is viewed from other religions, more specifically the Abrahamic religions like Christianity. And we wanted to make this an open space. We want all to be welcome and express their ideas and questions in a very in an open way, in the sense that nobody shall be offended. We're here to respect everybody, and the Buddhist teaching is that of nonviolence and appreciation for the values, the good values we see in all the great world religions. So if we can maybe give maybe a brief introduction, Bhante, about this topic of comparative religion, as you have done as you've been exposed in your PhD studies as well.
Yeah, I think first of all, it's more important that we focus on Buddhist standpoint, and I definitely agree with you when you say we don't want to offend when we discuss about this matter, and we definitely have so many wonderful friends across different religions. So we have great respect for all the religions in the world. They are doing such a wonderful service to the humanity. And having said that, so we are happy to also explain, because people have questions on this subject matter. And so I think it is important we elaborate a little bit more on this subject. Last time we actually made three representatives from the Christian side, and they were wonderful people too. And I really was very happy to meet them, and they explained. It was also there, but today we will Ananda Mahatma and myself would like to talk to our audience. At least some reflections from that discussion can be probably helpful. Yes. I think religion wise, if we say like Buddhism, I think is very different. If we talk about the creator God, many other religions can be, in one side. Buddhism can be really unique because Buddhism does not talk about creator God. So that way it is different. We do have gods, but they are not creator God. They are karmic gods. You and I also can become gods, deities, powerful deities, of course. We could probably live much longer, yes. But then again, it's not to live like a creator God. I remember in Abhidhammatta Sangha, for example, explained how these Brahma realms and all the Buddhist cosmology, when we talk about that, it says how long is the lifespan of those devas and Brahmas. For example, um, the next the immediate uh, in immediate proximity, one of the deva world is the four guardian angels, what we call Chatum Maharajika Deva world. It is said like one day there is equal to 50 human years. So it goes up, and when it goes up and it becomes one day there is 100 years here. Tavatinsa Deva realm and other different Deva realms have more and more longer span. And I remember like in the Brahma realm, for example, when it comes to Mahabrahma realm, it is said one day there is one eon here. So you can see, and it goes on to such long distance of time duration. And when it comes to Akanikta Brahma realm, it is as 80,000 eons. It's such a long time. We can really, it's uncountable, immeasurable, innumerable, span of time, infinite life long they have. So they think, um, they feel like they see many world systems going, appearing and disappearing. So sometimes these Brahmas even could have the delusion and illusion that they are actually living forever. They might feel like I am the creator God. I see the world systems appearing and disappearing. So I feel like I'm the creator God. you know that so something is in that connection. I would like to introduce just a beginning, and I'm actually not an expert on the Christian standpoint, so I would probably talk a little bit more about the Buddhist standpoint. Okay, Ananda Mahatma, do you have something to add?
Thank you. Sorry, I have a little. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much. Actually, it's a wonderful introduction also, and thank you, Randar, again. Now, as Bhante and as Randar mentioned, I also have to say that please do not take this as an event to, what do you call, to suppress or to criticize the other religions. That's not the objective. So we are just discussing because last week I was fortunate to attend one of the other discussions with the Christian parties and also Buddhist. There are three people each in one side. So we had a discussion. So some fantastic things came up in that discussion. So, and this is kind of similar to that one, but we are just talking about, yes, what is Buddhism, and are we believing in a God? If yes or no, if not, why, and things like that. And also, it is important, I think, just to understand what is Buddhism is at this time, because we know in the world now lots of people are converting to not believing any religion. I heard Bhante about a month ago, United Kingdom became a non-Christian country in the sense that, yes, and their majority is not believing in God now. I think 40 only 42% is believing a God in the United Kingdom. So now this is very important, because there's a huge community, huge crowd is going to no religion situation. That's also kind of little dangerous, and it can create a vacuum. People will go without any guidance, what to do, whom to believe. So in a situation like that, in that platform, actually it is our duty as Buddhists. Of course, we are Buddhists and we believe what we believe, and just to tell what we believe and whether it is matching with your expectations, whether with your logic. So there's something that the Buddhists can offer to the world. So why we don't, I mean, for example, if you ask me why I don't believing in the creator God, and so many questions, simple questions coming. Why all these sufferings? Why all these problems? Why in Gaza and Israel, why all these, wars happening? Why small children get killed? What wrong they have done? How can you answer that? So, but when you look at Buddhism, for every this kind of questions, we have answers. It is our own karma, what we have done in the past. Now, when someone is asking about who created the God, who created the universe? Actually, according to Buddhism, everything is happening according to cause and effect principle. For everything, there is a cause. And for that, there is another cause. So it's going on and on and on. So where is the beginning? You can't have a beginning, because for that beginning also there should be some reasons. Now, when you go back to the creation, okay, the God created the universe. Then my question is, who created the God? So, and one might say, no, God is, no. I mean, but we have to answer that question. How did it come? Right? So, and that logic will get kind of get stuck there. You can't, I sincerely ask, who created the God? And if God created this world, why all these sufferings? Now, one might say that, okay, at the end we will have salvation, but we are suffering right now. Look at a child who is suffering in the Gaza Strip or at our home. I mean, on the street boys. So people are suffering, and they don't want to wait till the end. They want to have some kind of a relief now, not at the end. So when you look at all these things, in my view, that there is no creation. It's evolution. It's just changing. According to the Buddhism, it's just a changing phenomena. The certain things are coming together and give another result. So, and with that result, there are other things coming together and give another situation. So this always rising and passing, and you get something new, situation, new phenomena, new person, thing, or something like. So it is just going on and on and on. So I don't know whether I answered your question. So that is what I think about the creation. I do not believe creation at all. But then what we believe, that's the next question. What we believe is ourselves. You have definitely changed your situation by knowing what is happening in you at this time. Now, for example, so my window is open. I see person is going outside my window, just walking. And by looking at this person, I might think, oh, why this guy is coming here at this time? So I can get scared. I can get angry with him. Why he is just knocking my door? Look at my emotions. Look at my thought process. I can be an angry person. I can be a person who is hating that other person. Similarly, at this moment, by looking at the same picture, the same person, the same looking through the same window, when I see that person, I can say, oh, I don't know what's the problem. I think he has some issues or he needs some help. So just let's go and help him. What is the matter? So on the same object, you can have different thought process. That different thought process is with compassion, kindness. And the earlier thought process was with suspicion, hate, anger. So who has the capacity to change it? It's you at this time, this moment. So the capacity to change yourself is with you, not with a God, and with your mind. So even you want to, if you want to think of the God, you have to think with your mind. There are people who have never thought of gods, like people who live in the Amazon jungles. So can you blame them for not believing in a God? They have no idea. So when you look at these things, I think what we want to kind of tell people or give what the message that we want to give is that, look, you're not left high and dry. You have the responsibility, you have a choice, and you are your master, and you can do all these decisions right now, right here, with your good mind, not with your bad mind. So you have a choice. So you can exercise that choice in the right way, not in the bad way. I think that's enough for the first question, right?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ananda. That was a very clear explanation of your premise of how to start this discussion regarding Buddhism and its relevance or its in comparison to other religions. Is it okay if I post the questions now that we have one by one? Yeah. Okay. So the first question we have. Buddhists do not believe in a creator God who initially created everything. If there is no creator God, how did things get started in the beginning? Would any one of you like to answer this question?
Yes, so maybe I will start. So what happens here in Buddhism, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, known as samsara, right? It is not overseen or controlled by a singular deity or external force. That is according to Buddhism. Instead, it operates based on the principles of karma and dependent origination. Karma or karma. Karma is the Pali word, karma is the Sanskrit word, and paticca samuppada is dependent origination. These two principles are really key factors in determining this issue. And karma or kamma, the law of causation, cause and effect, they play a pivotal role in the cycle of samsara. And we know, according to Buddhism, when you do good karma or bad karma, depending on that, your samsaric existence will be determined. Whether you will be born in the lower realm or a higher realm will be determined depending on what you do today. And also, your past karmic energies are um, causally and effectively, cause and effect wise, will help our present existence. So it is the accumulation of intentional actions, what we call chetanaham bhikkhave kammam vadami, that influence the future existence and lifetimes. Each individual's actions, my actions, your actions, everyone's actions, and their intentions, their thoughts, create karmic imprints in us that shape their future existence within the samsara. And the concept of dependent origination or paticca samuppada is a really powerful teaching in Buddhism that explains all phenomena arise due to interdependent causes and conditions. And within this samsara, um, the sentient beings continuously move. They traverse in the samsara through different realms, sometimes as humans, sometimes as animals, sometimes as deities, sometimes as brahmas, all different in different realms. They would traverse based on their karma and the mental and emotional states. And that is your own karma and not somebody else's. Others can really determine our sansaric course. We are responsible for that. So this operation of samsara is not governed by a central authority figure like in the other many other religious perspectives. When they talk about um, their the world system is run or administered or governed by an authoritative figure. But according to Buddhism, it's a result of the natural laws of cause and effect, perpetuated by the choices and actions of sentient beings. So I decide my own sansaric existence. My karmic conditions will determine my sansaric existence. Each individual's karmic imprints determine their experiences and the realm they are born into, whether it is the realm of gods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, or whatever. Ultimately, this sansaric, sansaric circle, it will continue based on their ongoing actions and intentions of sentient beings, with no external deity or entity overseeing or managing this process. So this teaching, the teaching of Buddhism focus on understanding the cycle and seeking liberation from it by breaking the cycle of karma and attaining enlightenment or nibbana or nirvana, which lies beyond samsara. So eventually, what we need to do is we are all um, trapped in this circle of samsara. It's like a whirlpool. We are already trapped inside. We can get rid of it. One day, somehow, we ourselves have to make an effort to come out of this. If we don't make an effort, we will be there almost forever. So that is why sometime, from time to time, the Buddhas would appear in this world, and the Buddha will guide us to the right path. So we have seen Buddhas coming, many Buddhas appearing into this world. So they help us opening our eyes. Hey, you are in a whirlpool, come out of it. So the Buddha would teach the Dhamma, and we have to decode and he could also do it, just show us the path. And if we don't make an effort, even the Buddha can help us. So again, it's our own karma, our own action, intention, effort that determine our samsaric existence and getting out of the samsaric circle too. Yeah, I think we can explain more. Maybe Ananda Mate has something to say before.
Yeah, very enlightening explanation, Bhante. Can you put that question again?
Yeah, you were kind of covered with the question. It was too long.
Yeah. So Buddhists do not believe in a creator God who initially created everything. Now here we are making a statement. So someone has apparently initially created everything, but we don't believe that. I think I partially answered this question earlier in my earlier introduction. The question is, okay, who created the God? That question no one has answered to me. And if he created this world, I mean, this world would have been a fantastic place. If this world was created by a super human, almighty, with a lot of compassion and kindness, then we should not suffer. Tell me any single individual in the world who is not suffering, who is not fearful about something, about your old age, about your job, about your children, about your sicknesses, about your finances. Everybody is upset. Everybody is not in peace. Everybody, every time, has this suffering. They are not happy. They are not satisfied with what they have. So why, whether you are poor, whether you are good, whether you are bad, whatever it is, no one is happy. No one is satisfied with what they have, what their situation. Look at your body. Are we happy with our body? We are not happy with our body, at least, because that's why we go and we change it all the time. We use combs and comb the hair, and we apply creams and perfumes and what kind of. I mean, we are trying to decorate this because the original creation is, I think, to me, is a failure if there was a creation. One. Number two. Now, which God we are talking about? We have a couple of major religions, right? So I don't want to name it. Of course, we know there are 3-4 major religions, and they all believe in creator gods. But we human beings fight each other for the same gods. So the God has the power then to stop, say, hey, you're believing in me and you're also believing in me. Just stop fighting. Don't kill each other. You see, there's nothing coming like that. And where is this God living? And what has he said? So we don't know anything. We have not seen, we have not heard. And there's a lot of mess still in this world. Again, we are not criticizing any other religions, but we are basically a Buddhist conversation about God, because our children, our kids have to answer these questions when they go out to the society. So in that context, only we are answering these things according to what we think. Maybe we are wrong, right? So it's debatable. Let other people have their own opinions. But this is my opinion. And if there is no creator God, how did things get started in the beginning? So now the second part of this question tells, okay, there is something unknown. There is something unknown. If there is no God, how did things get started at the beginning? So the problem is how did things get started at the beginning? So we don't know the answer. Then we had created a God to say that, oh, God created this. Actually, here what happens is not that God created us, we have created God. What is happening here is that we have humans created God to take the responsibility of our unknowns, right? So that's what I feel that way. And there's a little danger of actually believing in this kind of situation. So if you don't give your responsibility to yourself, what happens is you can do anything, you can do any wrongdoing, and you can go to the God and ask for pardon. Right? The second thing, now, when I think I am doing the right thing, it not be right to the other person. I am sincerely, I am genuinely, I am doing a good thing. But the second person who look at me think, oh, who is this guy? How many, misunderstandings basically. I'm going to go and help to some person, to give some help to a person. He might get offended with that. So even my purest intentions can get misunderstood. Why is that? Why is that? So this is all human psychology. This is all human behavior. It is all depending on how we interpret good and bad. And it is also depending on how we see good, not only interpreting, how we see good and how we see bad. For example, something for me, like for example, killing an animal for food, I don't like it. And I have my own reasons. There's another person, killing an animal for food is okay. It's good because you are feeding someone, your children. So now, how do we separate good and bad? In Buddhism, there's a fantastic acid test. You have given a test to see what is right, what is wrong. If some action of yours is good for you and good for the others, then you do that. If it is good for you but not for the others, if it is good for others but not good for you, in either case, just don't do that. If something is good, it has to be good for you, good for the others. In Pali, it says, attabhya badaya sangvatati, na parabhya badaya sangvatati, na ubhyabhya badaya sangvatati. So if you do some action, you have to check all the time whether it is good for me, whether it's good for the others. That is the test. I don't think this test can be challenged by any religion, right? So most of the people, most of even us, most of the time, sometimes we decide things to our benefit, not to the other person. But if you are a decent human being, what the Buddha has taught us is that, okay, put to the test. See, it's good for you and good for the others. It is completely logical. I don't think anyone, any other person of any other religion can challenge that. And I think I answered that question basically, why I don't believe a creator God. And because my first question is who created the God? That basically we have created the God. We have created that concept. It doesn't mean that these concepts have done a lot of wrongdoings, but there are certain good things has happened with this, because this is the fear-driven psychology. Or there's a God, don't do wrong things. But as I said this earlier, but what is wrong, what is right have not been classified, have not been interpreted properly in these regions. It is always towards you. Most of the times, of course, love thy neighbor. I mean, things like that are really good. We don't dispute those things. But when you look at the entire living being, now in Buddhism, the other major difference is that we love all the living beings, not only humans. But that phenomena is not really observed that way in some of the other religions. So animals are discriminated, not given due recognition. We are not thinking about their pain, sufferings. No. So it's only humans, only me, myself, my family. So in Buddhism, that is not the case. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ananda.
Yeah.
Go on, Bhante.
I think there is another wonderful sutta called Aganya Sutta in Diganikaya number 27. And in the Aganya Sutta, Buddha talks something about the beginning of this, to Vasetta and Bharadwaja, two Brahmins. And in the sutta here, Buddha talks about something. Actually, it is the sansara is a circle, so we can find the beginning point in a circle, right? So it's hard to say. Anavataggo yang sansaro, the sansara, like we can see the beginning. Um, it has happened, like in many cases, like even Venerable Moggallana was trying to find the beginning point, and he was trying to see the end of the world. And Buddha said, even this physical world, you can't, with all your mighty supernatural powers, if you traverse, even with the advanced technology that we have today, we can see the end of the world. And there will be like immeasurable galaxies, innumerable galaxies all around. And Venerable Moggallana was just trying to do that. Remember, he was just next to the Buddha in terms of his supernatural powers. And then the Buddha said, Moggallana, don't do it. You can do it until you die. You won't be able to do it. So what he said, like, look into yourself. The whole universe is consisted of four elements: Pataviya, Potejo, Vai. The earth element, the fire element, the water element, the air element. These are the elements that consist the world. So you look into yourself and you see the world. And the Buddha said, Imasmin yeva vyamamattake kalebare, lokancha, loka samudayancha, loka nirodhancha, loka nirodha gamini, patipadancha, panyatini. So the beginning, the world, the beginning, the root cause of the world, the end of the world, and the path leading to the end of the world is right here, right within us. So Buddha said, like, using that insight meditation, look into yourself, you probably can see it much better rather than finding a way in the outside world. In the Aganya Sutta, it gives some kind of an interesting turning point, actually, to the world order. How the Buddha said, even though it is the circle of samsara, and how the Brahmas at the time of contraction, beings are mostly born in the Abhasara Brahma realm, and there they dwell, mind-made, feeding on delight, self-luminous. Abhasara means self-luminous, moving through the air, glorious. And they stay like that of a very long time, but sooner or later, after a very long period, this world begins to expand again. At the time of expansion, the beings from the Abhasara Brahma realm, having died from there, are mostly reborn in this world. Here they dwell, mind-made, feeding on delight, self-luminous, moving through the air, glorious, and they stay like that for a very long time. So it is said they floated and around the world. At this time, they were not yet seen the moon and the sun, and also there were not yet night and day. There were not yet names and identity, or female or male. The creatures were only known as creatures. So that sutta gives a certain point to the beginning, how they started eating something on the earth and licking, and then their light bodies became heavier. And so it gives a certain kind of tips to how we humanity started, something like that. So the body of the creatures have become finally evolved, and there was already the distinction between male and female later on. So something interesting is there in that, according to Buddhist suttas. So just
That
wanted
is
to
the, yeah, that is the
introduce.
Bhante, how the man was evolved, right? But when
Yes,
you talk about the universe,
yes.
again, the Abhasara Brahmaloka should be inside that universe
Right,
also.
right, right. Yeah. This, as I mentioned, like this is a circle, and the world system will appear and disappear. And it is said like some of the Brahma realms will also disappear when the world system will be gone. And those Brahma realm, those Brahmas already have some jhanic power to move around, and those were the sentient beings who could actually come back, and then they start it. It's a course of continuous appearance and disappearance. It's very interesting, actually. That's also why the Buddha decided to not answer, not engage in some of these questions which are not directly helping us to get rid of this samsara.
Actually,
He was more focused on liberation or emancipation or enlightenment than on, mind splitting, brainstorming. These things, they are very curious questions. True, there were some questions that Buddha didn't even want to answer, because he knew it's not going to help us in order to get rid of this samsara.
Bhante, also just to add a little bit on to that, it's not helping us, but also there cannot be there. We can't give an answer. Like for example, if you, I mean, you touched upon, like, if you have a circle, you have a bangle. What is the beginning of this bangle? Where is the end? There is no. So in a bangle or in a ring or in a circle, there is no start or end. So this is a samsara. This is so there is no start or end, because everything has a reason. Even for that also there should be a reason. For that also there should be a reason. Even for God also there should be a reason. Like, there is no, I mean, that answer is, the question is not a relevant or a valid question, first of all. And the second thing, Buddha, Bhante, I think you remember that there's another example given when someone came and asked about this question. He's giving a fantastic simile of a person who was shot with an arrow.
Hmm.
Now, so he was shot with an arrow, and now he says, instead of removing the arrow or treating the wound, he's asking from where this arrow came from, who shot me, and what kind of poison is in this, what direction it came from. All these questions he's asking, but not treating the wound, not removing the arrow. So like that, we have a problem right now. And we need to look at the situation right now, and you need to take actions. Instead of doing that, we are asking who created this, when was this created, what is the benefit. One might say the world was created 1 billion years ago. One might say half a billion years ago. So what? So these are sometimes irrelevant questions. And as I mentioned earlier, I think, these unknown questions, we need to give responsibility to someone, and we created the God there, in my view, of course. All right, I think we can go to the next question.
Yes, I will move on to the
Unless
next
you have
one.
any questions on that. Sorry, Randika, right? I'm sorry. Your name?
Eranda.
Around the
Erande. Oh, Erande. Yeah, unless you have something to add
No,
or
I
ask.
mean, it's very interesting that you mention how this is like a circle, because if
Yeah,
you
it's a
view it
circle.
in that light, then you realize that you're not separate from this, and this idea that there's something out there is no longer a question, because the mind and the universe are the same thing. It's how you perceive it. I find that very interesting, or thought provoking. So the next question we have is, If life is just suffering, as Buddhism claims, why is it some of us don't see it this way? Why do some of us see life as wonderful rather than filled with suffering?
Yeah, that's another interesting question, right? A lot of people enjoy the suffering sometimes. I remember the Buddha in one of the suttas said there are three massive things in the world. One is the great ocean, uh, which is very very deep, and the other is the great mountain. It should be maybe a great mountain, maybe Mount Everest, or even another mountain, something. And also there is um the Earth, great Earth. There are three massive objects in this world, and even these great massive objects will disappear one day. Will disappear. We know that. Even here in California, for example, we can see some of the signs of the earlier ocean, right? And so the ocean will dry, even though it is like maybe 36,000 or something deep in the Mariana Trench. That will also dry down. There will be not a trace of the water one day. Just like we are trying to figure out if there was water in the moon or in the Mars, and now there were lots and lots of water there before, but now it is almost nothing. We really are trying to figure out if there is water at all. So now you see, like, all these things are also subject to change, impermanence, anicca. That is the theory in Buddhism that we talk about. All these massive objects will disappear one day or the other, yet there will be something that will not disappear. What is that? That is our avidya, our ignorance, our moha, delusion. That will not, just like that, will not disappear. It will still move us back to the samsara. It will push us back to the samsara. We will be circumambulating in the samsara, or we will be moving round and round along this samsara, in that whirlpool of samsaric circle, um, depending on those dependent origination, you can see. And still there will be no mercy from the moha, from the avidya. Oh, this guy was living in the samsara for such a long time. I think I should sympathize this man, let him come out of the samsara. He will not do that. No mercy. And we ourselves have to decide, how to determine, I have to get rid of this, I have to get out of this. That free will somewhere, somehow, have to come from within us, and then only we can get rid of this. Just like, let's say, like, somebody who is a drug addict, and how many people can try to rescue that person from that drug addiction. um, that person will not come out of it, and if he doesn't have a free will, no matter how much we try, it will be very hard. Only, even though he was suffering, he was addicted to the utmost level, somewhere, somehow, he or she has to decide, I want to get out of this bad habit. And then help can come from elsewhere too. You have to go finding help from different people, medicine or medical people or counselors or whatever. And then you will have to work, you have to make an effort. And it will not be just a simple thing, somebody will push you. No, it will not happen in Buddhism. Buddhas will show us the path, we have to walk along. If not, we will be in the samsara no matter how long it takes. So that is
Yeah. Thank you, Bhante. Let me add another point to it. Like, let me look at it in a different way. So if life is just suffering, as Buddhists claim, why is it some of us don't see it this way? It is ignorance. Ignorance means the lack of knowledge of what is really there. For example, um, like we eat something, and I have no idea if I eat this one whether I will get a cancer or not, right? And I enjoy the food, but in that food there are certain substances that can cause problems for me. If I don't know about it, I enjoy the food at that time, but then I get suffer. I will suffer, and like that. If and the second thing is, not everything is suffering. It's not everything is suffering. The platform is fragile. That's what it says. The platform that we are operating, the stage, the drama is played, is not solid. It can collapse anytime. Let me give you an example. Like, you have a boat. You are a fisherman. As long as you are in the sea, in the boat, it can be subjected to cyclones. It can be subjected to danger. But as long as there's no cyclones or no hurricanes or anything like that, so it's moving. It's nice to stay inside the boat. But when the sea is rough, you're scared. You don't know what time a hurricane or disaster hits you. As long as you are out of the sea, then you don't have that worry. That is what it says. And also, actually, it doesn't mean that everything is suffering. No, we are always unsatisfied. We are not satisfactory enough. We are always going for something bigger, better. So we are not satisfied with what we have. So that is why it is called suffering in one way. Actually, there's a nice sutta. Bhante, you remember this Chula Vedala Sutta? Now, in the sutta, the Venerable Dhammadinna, her late-time husband is asking some question from her. He's asking, is there anything good in the sufferings? Or is there any sufferings, and what the other word, the opposite word, suffering and
Happiness.
second, happiness, for example? Yeah. When you when you are in a difficult situation, when the difficult situation comes, it is suffering. When the difficult situation passes away, it is happiness. Right? So it is not all sufferings. Every moment it has a good and a bad. And then the Visakha is the husband, is asking the Madinna, is there anything bad in happiness? Yes, when the happiness is coming, it is good. But when the happiness goes away, that happy moment goes away, it is bad. You're not happy. You have a nice party. When the party is ending, you're not happy. Right? So, like that. And there's another question she's asking. There are situations where you are neither happy nor unhappy. Neither suffering, no, not suffering. Then the answer is given. When you know that you are in, so basically equilibrium or upeksha, equanimity situation. When you know that you are in equanimity, or you are neither suffering nor not suffering, when you know that situation, you are happy. And when you don't know that you are in this situation, then you are unhappy. You might say, oh, it's boring. But when you know that, okay, so I'm not suffering this. So if I'm not suffering here this time, it should be good, right? So it's all depends on your IQ level or the knowledge that you have in Dhamma. Then you can analyze it. So life is not always suffering. There are certain good things, but the platform actually is very fragile. You can collapse anytime. And so that is why you have to be careful. You should know what are the pillars of this platform, how you can be happy. So Buddhism is not talking about sufferings. Buddhism is talking about coming out of sufferings. But without knowing sufferings, without knowing the bad side, like you make a project, right? You make a project proposal. You need to know all the uncertainties. You have to have the pluses and the minuses, strengths and the weaknesses. You have to analyze that. So here, the Buddha is trying to tell you, look at these negative things here. This is negative generally, because no one is happy basically. I mean, you're always suffering something. You are not happy with tomorrow's going to work. You are not happy with your degree. The results are not good enough. You are not happy that your face is getting older. The look is not good. I mean, look at that. In every moment, you're always looking for something better. That is what it's called here. But it does not mean we are all the time suffering, crying. No, not like that. Every mind moment, it has when the suffering comes, it is suffering. When the suffering goes away, it is happiness. Vice versa. So it is really not understanding the question. That is why people don't understand the sufferings. And in fact, Four Noble Truths can be interpreted indifferently. Instead of say suffering, what is the cause for happiness? Right? What is the start of happiness? And like that, you can analyze that way too. So it is not suffering. It is just understanding the world's realities. That's what it is. Then second part of the question, why do some of us see life as wonderful rather than filled with sufferings? Like, for example, it is again ignorance. Because when you don't understand these things, and no one, actually, you can see the world as wonderful, only arahants can see that. The people who have mastered this topic, understood everything, and has come out from that situation of suffering, then they can see it as wonderful. But normally, ordinary people like you and I, we cannot see that that way, because it is just again ignorance, because we don't know in the next moment we can be unhappy. We think we are happy. Like, for example, a small kid, right? Just going to touch something which is harmful to her. And he thinks if you touch, like, for example, hot bulb or a hot plate, and going and touch, then an adult has to come and take it away. But she might think, oh, my mother is not letting me experience this. But if she experiences that, she'll see the suffering. So it is ignorant. The small kid doesn't know exactly what she will feel, how she will feel if she puts into that situation. That is what, basically, again, ignorance. I don't know whether I answered that part.
Yeah, I just want to add little bit more. Like it also depends on impermanence. Like the Buddha said, the three characteristics, right? Anicca, dukkha, and anatta. These are the three important teachings that we have when it comes to suffering. We also need to know that. So yadanichang tan dukkhang, yang dukkhang tadanatta. If something is subject to change, that is suffering. Like let's say, like, you give a toy to a kid and he will be very happy, he or she will be very happy about that. But the moment you take that out of the kid, he or she will not be happy. You see the happiness and suffering, it's the two sides of the same coin, and it is the change, that change he or she doesn't like. And we grow old. When we are little babies, we want to grow old. We want to grow like bigger. And when you grow younger and you like your younger days, the baby, sometimes when you grow even older, you worry about your youth, prime youth, beautiful days. And then when every time when we change, when we see this change, we are not happy. So the Buddha talks about these changes, this unhappiness, this unsatisfactoriness all throughout his teachings. Like Jati Dukkha, the birth is suffering because it is subject to many changes. We get sick, we get old, we have like lot of unpleasant people, and we don't like it. And we also see departing of our pleasant people, loved ones, we don't like it. And then eventually, we don't get what we like, and we get what we don't like, and we are not happy. You see how the suffering can cause many different conditions because of it changes, because it is changing, subject to change. Every time we need to see why it is changing. We can really control that change. That change itself is the thing that doesn't change. So anicca dukkha, and then if something is changing and something is subject to suffering, and the Buddha said there will be no permanent entity, what we call atta or soul, permanent entity. There is nothing like that according to Buddhism. So even in our body, we can say we are growing every time. Even right now, many millions of cells are dying and born and dying, right? In our body, we can only see like maybe like when we shave, right now we can see, but tomorrow if you wake up and you will see some gray hair or something coming up again. So they are all the time appearing and disappearing and changing. And so we need to know, we need to see that. I think like Ananda Mahathir said, having said that the life is subject to suffering, such changes are happening, and what we need to also remember, and we it doesn't mean like we have to be pessimistic about life. I think so, we have to be realistic. It doesn't mean you should not study because life is suffering. You should not earn money because it is suffering. You should do business. You should do studies. You should do good things. You should exercise. You should eat good food. That's okay. But we need to know that everything that we have will one day be gone. We can control. The moment we die, all the titles we have will be gone. We can claim, I have a PhD, so I can claim it back. No, you have to start from the beginning. And all the youth, all the resources that you have, all the material and other properties that you have will be gone. You can claim it back when you die. So you can see, like, we need to have that realization. I think when we talk about the suffering, we also need to have that understanding, realization. That way, we Buddhists can face our life much more comfortably, I think. Even when we face death or sickness or loss of something, we know how to work with equanimity. That way we find, okay, I know it is changing, I know everything is not permanent, so I can make up my mind, I can be stronger. And if you do even go more deeply into the Dhamma, you will find even more lasting solution.
Yeah, actually, it's like in Sinhala, there's a saying that Danaganagi Kataragama, meaning that when you know your background, when you know your situation, when you know this is suffering, then when you face a difficult situation, you are not upset. But if you don't know and if you face a difficult situation, you will be very upset. Oh my God, what happened to me? Why? Oh my God, what wrong I did? But if you know that, yeah, these things can change anytime, then when you face that situation, you're not upset. You know that it can happen. So, yeah, actually, what Buddhism does here is telling you that the life is not rosy. So be careful, work in a better, writer, and more understandable way, and then you will not have these road bumps ahead. So if you see that, you know how to avoid it, how to maneuver it in a better way.
So I really appreciate both Bhante and Mr. Ananda for answering these questions. I think we still have time for maybe one more question, if
Okay.
it's still acceptable. So the next question is, you believe humans can achieve perfection and reach nirvana. As a Christian, I believe we can never achieve perfection in this life, freedom from suffering, or any permanent, more noble existence by self-effort. What's your stance on this, Bhante and Mr. Ananda, to those who have a doubt? I mean, in the sense of, ultimately, I guess, the Four Noble Truths, or
I think I can answer the Buddhist part, not the Christian part. Whatever you believe, it's a different thing, because I think the creation or the creator God thing, or perfection or everlasting thing, or even Brahma Sahavyata, like union with the Almighty, will be different in Buddhist perspective. But having said that, nirvana or the nibbana or the enlightenment is our equivalent to that, Buddhist equivalent to that. So I think, did you paste the same question, or did you modify the question? Uh, Ananda?
well, this was a set of questions.
Somebody asked. Okay. Okay.
Yes, and
All right.
I guess looking at it comparatively, because in
Yeah.
Christianity,
So we'll talk about the what you believe humans can achieve perfection and reach nirvana. It's not only humans, but also the devas and brahmas can achieve the final liberation, according to Buddhism. But humans are much more advanced. Like in many cases, we give priority to those powerful devas and brahmas, but in Buddhism, humanity has been given more priority. Why do I say that? Because according to Theravada Buddhism, there are three ways to achieve perfection: human liberation, like liberation from the samsaric suffering. That is Samma Sambuddha, Pacceka Buddha, and Arahanta Buddha. So there are three bodhis, or three ways for sentient beings to achieve final liberation. All these three stages can be achieved only by the humans. Samma Sambuddha cannot be achieved by a Brahma or a Deva. Even though they live longer, even though they are powerful, only humans can achieve those things. And Pacceka Buddha, again, the individual Buddhahood, is not achieved by non-humans. Only humans can achieve that. So I think it is really interesting that way. Why Buddha has given so much priority to we humans. We humans can work. We humans can, study. We can learn the history, and also we can do many good things, and transfer merit to others. We can help others. So in that way, humanity is much more important, and we humans can fulfill paramitas. We can do many things compared to the devas and brahmas. We humans can do better. So as I said, the Samma Sambuddhahood is achieved only by the humans. Pacceka Buddha is achieved only by the humans. Even the Arahanthood is available to humans. So you and I, as long as the Dharma is there, as long as we practice the Dharma, we can achieve the final liberation, Nibbana, enlightenment, even today. That is the story of the Buddhist perspective. And again, Nirvana or Nibbana is not to be born in another realm, is not to be born in another beautiful, wholesome paradise. It's not like that in Buddhism. It is just the absolute absence, complete absence of all kinds of attachment or desires or defilements. Bana or vana means craving or attachment. Ni means the negation or the absence. So the absolute, complete absence of all kinds of desires, all kinds of attachment is what we call Nibbana. So right here, right now, if we achieve final liberation, we are living Arahantas. Okay, we are living Arahantas. We are living liberated ones, and that is called Sopadisesa Nibbana. And when we pass away, when we die, and the body will also be dismantled. All the four elements will be added to the four elements in the outside world. And then there will be a Nirupadisesa Nibbana, what we call the death of physical death of an Arahant. So there are these two kinds of Nibbana explained in the Theravada Buddhism.
Okay. All right, let me add a little bit to that. Let me go a little bit further in analyzing these words, Ananda.
Yes.
Now we have a couple of words here. One is you believe, right? Humans and perfection. So in Buddhism, there is hardly any room for beliefs. You can believe anything. Like, for example, take two people from two religions, right? So one person is believing my God is the God, and the other person of the other religion believes, no, you're wrong, that my God is the real God, something like that. But definitely one of these two people will be wrong, right? Or both wrong. Definitely. So Buddhism is something, how do you put it? It is experiential. Your experience, your knowing, you can experience it right now, right here. Like, for example, you just go and sit on meditation, right? You're trying to keep all the worldly other things away. You're not going to think about your job. You're not going to think about your food. You're not going to think about your studies. You're not going to think about your exams next week. You just keep everything away and try to pay attention to probably one thing, maybe the breath, which is very neutral, right? So when you practice this, when you do this practice, all the worries are going away. So because you are not attaching to your thoughts even. If you can have a situation where no thoughts are coming to you. So thoughts are basically either positive, negative, or neutral, right? Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, or Adukkama Sukha Vedana, the feelings basically. So if you can create a situation where you don't get any feelings, so that will be a very peaceful situation. You can experience that. You don't have to wait till you achieve nirvana. This is a sub nirvana. This what do you call this tiny nirvana at this time. You are not suffering here. And when you go back to that question again, the humans, the word humans, right? You said humans are believing. Who is a human actually? Human or any other living being, you call it a self. Self, in Buddhism, it is explained as 5 aggregates of clinging. 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates. What are these 5 aggregates? Form, feelings, perceptions, volitions, and consciousness. Right? You look at any person and break it down to these 5 categories. Then you will see actually there is no human there. There is no person. Like Bhante explained earlier, when you look at the form is your physical body, for example. Now, this physical body, is it really you? Can you say your physical body is you? If you can say your physical body is you, then you should have the complete authority of it. You should not get sicknesses. You should not get hungry. You should have a perfect figure, but you are not happy about your figure. You did not select this body like you go to a shoe shop and select a pair of shoes. It is not given to you by anyone. You have not selected and brought it also here. Right? Because your past karmas, past various things, you have got something. But this body is totally, 99% of the times is out of control. You have no control over it. It is depending on many other things like food, water, air. Can you live? Can you keep your body? Can you maintain your body without having food for at least maybe 1 week or 1 month, for example? No, it is depending on something else outside there, beyond you. Forget about food. Can you live? Can you keep this body alive without water for about 2 days? No, you can't. Forget about water. Can you maintain this body without air for 10 minutes? No, you can't. These are all depending on other things. Then how can you say this body is yours? How can you say this body is me? You cannot. So this body is happening dependent on various other things. Also, the food that you eat, it was not made by you. The air in the atmosphere is not created by you. The water that you drink was not made by you. It's all outside. And you need these different components to make your body and maintain your body. So can you say this body is you, me? No. It is always depending on some other things. So that is the body. What about your mind? Your mind, is your body is your mind? No, right? When your body is without mind, you said it's a dead body. When the mind goes away, then it is dead, right? The mind is another very important component. Actually, for the Buddhist, the mind is the supreme here. And the mind is broken down to 4 basic parts: the feelings, the perceptions, and the volitions, and the consciousness. The feelings, you have a comfortable feeling at a time, you have an uncomfortable feeling, or you have a neutral feeling. These feelings are changing all the time. Even look at the same subject, the same object, these feelings will change. You like your father when he is bringing you a gift. But the same father, you don't like him when he's asking for whether you studied or not, or did you pass the exam, and when you put some pressure on you for your studies, you don't like that father that time. The same object, the same figure. One time you are happy with him, and the other time you are not happy with him. So the perception, when you look at your father, to you it's your father, to mother it's husband, to the next door person is a neighbor, to his colleague in the office is a friend, So the perception, the same figure, the same object, but we look at him differently. So the perception, and when you look at a person, oh, he's a good guy, and the second person might think, oh, he's a bad guy. So who is right here? So these perceptions also coming and going, it's nothing solid. It's not permanent.
Mr. Ananda, I was just wondering if you could maybe perhaps give a concluding remark.
Are
We're
we?
coming close to the end of the talk.
Okay. All right. So basically, what I'm trying to explain you is that just put it back for a minute. Then I will. I thought we have 2 hours. No, we don't have 2 hours, right?
I think maybe less than
Okay.
that.
It's okay. It's okay. So we have gone 1 hour 20 minutes so far. Okay. All right. So what I'm saying is, yeah, just put it back for a minute. I want to just conclude it. So what I'm trying to say is that your beliefs, you believe humans can achieve perfection. Yes, you can achieve perfections when you understand who is a human, first of all, and not with belief, but by experience, by knowing what is good, what is bad for this moment. And for that, you have to have the mindfulness. The we call it the sihiya in singular, mindfulness, like a present moment awareness. Present moment awareness. That is the most important thing. The present moment awareness is not coming to everybody unless you practice it, unless you train it. It's a training exercise. That is why we, like for example, when we get angry, right? When we get angry, we know that anger is not good, but still we get angry. But if we know when the anger comes, oh, anger is coming, then you know how to avoid the anger. But if you don't know when the anger comes in, then you cannot avoid the anger. So for that, you have to practice meditation. Come to the present moment. Use present moment means knowing what is happening in your mind right there, right now. Oh, my mind is not it's not in anger right now. Oh, I'm getting angry now. So if you know that part at that moment, then you can avoid it. Otherwise, you get dragged down with it. And so basically, these questions actually, the perfections, yes, because if you know these phenomena, so that is why when you are a Buddhist, you have to understand the basic Dhamma. That is why it is so important. Buddha has taught everything. When you understand it, you can use it. Otherwise, you are just a believer of something and without any foundation or a solid platform. I hope I have, because the time I would like to explain a little bit more, but that's fine.
I think it's fine. If you have a little bit more, please go ahead and you can finish. Yeah, take your time.
I think, yeah. So again, going back to nirvana, the other word or the perfection. Perfection means that you are not upset. You are happy. You are not unhappy. And if you have a very happy situations all the time, or at least neither happy, no unhappy, or you call it equanimity, or upeksha, you can, before going into nirvana, you can experience these situations in your daily life. In meditation, you can experience this when the mind has been developed with various other meditation techniques. When you meet a person, when you have difficult situations, when you know that, oh, I have overcome that difficult situation with sympathy, with empathy, with kindness, with compassion, you're so happy. When someone's coming and blaming you for something, and if you can get to that person, oh, someone is blaming me, but I don't have to get angry with him. So you know that you have overcome that situation. You are happy there. So the perfections. Normally we say perfection is in nirvana. The humans can achieve these situations. Definitely can. I think I have answered that question. And if you say the other people, as a Christian, I believe we can never achieve perfection. I mean, that is so sad. Why God created you if you cannot achieve perfection? Ask that question from the God or the creator or that superhuman being. Something wrong with the creation then, if you cannot in this lifetime be perfect. It is hard, but it can be. All right. I think that I have given some thoughts to it, right?
Bhante, would you like to make some concluding remarks?
Yes, I think it's important to remember that the question, there is an old adage, I think, who came first, egg or the chicken or the chick? We don't know which one came first. Because it's a circle. Um, so when we try to find a um, like a beginning to a circle, it's impossible. And having said that, according to dependent origination, there are many suttas, in fact, like Paticca Samuppada, Vibhanga Sutta is there, the analysis of um, the dependent origination, and Samyutta Nikaya 12.2, analysis of dependent origination. In that sutta and many other suttas deal with the Paticca Samuppada. I think maybe we can deal with that. We can talk about more about the Paticca Samuppada a little later. I remember like Ananda Mahatmya also was explaining a little bit more about how the Paticca some of the links are connected. And out of these 12 links, ignorance, moha or avidya, and craving, tanha, these are the two most powerful sources that bind us to the sansara. And so we have to recognize it. I have to recognize it. How to get rid of these cravings, desires, the attachments that we have towards this world, towards myself. And I think in Buddhism we try to do something like five precepts. In the five precepts, we try to get rid of those attachments. And I remember like when we go to full moon day, to the temple on full moon day, you observe three more extra precepts, and that is where you train yourself, how to go one step ahead, like skipping your dinner. Skipping your dinner is a way, I think, a practical way of detachment, because the craving for food is such a strong thing in people. Like they have such a strong craving for food, and here you try to skip one meal at least. Oh, how can I skip one meal? So you try to make an effort. I am not going to eat today, no solid food afternoon. So you try to train yourself. And in the seventh precept, you are going even more advanced step, like all beautifications, all entertainments are avoided that day. So you try to abandon them, and then you train yourself how to get rid of those attachments and desires. And even further, when you avoid those comfortable cushions and chairs and tables and whatever, beds and all, and sit simple on the ground, you are also becoming more simple and more humble, and you cut off your ego, and you also get rid of, you try to abandon those attachments. And some people have a difficulty. They say, I can't sleep in other places. I can sleep only on my bed, only on in my room. There are, have you seen some people like that? They say, I can't sleep anywhere. I have to sleep only on my bed. So much attachment. So we have to get rid of these things, like simple ways how to get rid of these attachments. And also we need to find, if we have attachment to things, if we have desires, we have to go into ourselves, analyze, investigate. Do I have attachment? Do I have desire? And then we need to train ourselves, because those desires mean, the more you are attached mean the more you suffer. Whether your kids or whether your loved ones, whether whatever you are attached, things or people, once they go, once something happened to them, you feel suffering. And we need to know that. And so that is why we need to train ourselves to get rid of these desires and attachments. And how to get rid of the moha avidya? By practicing meditation, practicing sitting meditation, continuously sitting for a while every single day will help. And then also analyze, reflect every moment when you have difficulty, like let's say you are angry or you are sad, you are greedy, you have lustful temptation. Every time you have some strong emotions like that, close your eyes, take a good long deep breath, reflect on that. Don't try to run away, but try to dig deeper into that, investigate, analyze, and then how you can coordinate with your mind and body and see how you are reacting, how your body is reacting to the situation, because you are attached to that and you are sakkaya with your self identity. You see, that's how we have to get rid of these things slowly and gradually, and eventually we need to find a way to attain the first path of fruition. What do you call the magga phala, path and fruition, at least the sotapanna. Within this birth itself we need to find, and that will be the only way to find the lasting happiness and go closer to the nibbana. So I hope today's, during our limited time, we tried our
Also,
best.
yeah, can I just add a little bit to that?
Yes.
Also, just understanding your power, understanding you have a choice instead of depending on unknown, unseen superpowers or the powers. If you can realize that the power that you have within you, it will be amazing. And truly it will be amazing. And when you know that, okay, I have the choice. So if you get upset, it is not other person, it is you. You have the power to either get upset or not to get upset. Whatever the situation is, whatever the situation outside, like you might think, oh, that guy made me angry. No, it is you make yourself angry. Um, so all these negative emotions, if you want, if you are aware how to manage those, you can. So that is the most important thing in this human psychology. And basically Buddha's talked about human psychology, about the mind, all mind made. So you can change that mind, and if you want to get happy in that particular situation, you can. If you want to get unhappy, you can. So that choice we have. It is our responsibility to understand it and master it, and how to handle it in a way that it is which will be good for you and good for the others. That choice is yours. Thank you, Bhante.
Yes, I like that part. Actually, when we are humans, the Buddha had given more opportunity to humans, more power, more authority. So we are humans, so maybe we should try our best to, achieve that final liberation.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, with that, we are coming to an end of our session today. I would like to thank Venerable Bhante Sumitta and Mr. Ananda Mahinkanda for your insightful and elaborate answers to our questions. We all appreciate your valuable time to come and share your wisdom and knowledge with our friends from all over the globe online. For our viewers watching, please make sure you are following Dhamma USA's socials, the YouTube and Facebook, to be updated with the latest notifications. For our viewers, thank you again for our viewers joining us, and we look forward to seeing you every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Diving into Dhamma live Q&A with Bhante Sumitta. On behalf of our audience, may we ask Bhante to deliver some blessings for us?
Thank you so much. I think we will hopefully continue the discussion with Ananda Mahatma probably next week also to continue the discussion. And with the blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, may you all be well, happy, healthy, safe, wherever you are. May all your near and dear ones, loved ones, teachers and elders, everyone in your family, everyone in your community, everyone in your neighborhood, everyone in your country, everyone in the world and beyond, all humans or non-humans, skybound, earthbound, waterbound, or sentient beings, may they all be blessed by the Noble Triple Gem. May they all be well, happy, healthy, safe, wherever they are. May they all be associated with wonderful Kalyana Mitra friends. May they always be associated with the Dhamma so that they can be led to the right way. And may all of us and all of them be able to attain the final liberation, the absolute peace and happiness, the perfect enlightenment at the end of our samsara. Thinking thus, please keep your palms together close to your heart and say 3 times, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Abhivadana silis nichang vadha pachayino. Chattaro dhamma vadhanti ayuvang no sukhang balang. Ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti emenate samijjatu.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu.
We are out of the discussion, right?
And Ananda, can you end, because I am